Senior U.S. lawmakers came out of 3 back-to-back meetings to show bipartisanship is still possible in a divided Congress.
We reached an agreement in principle between us on the Homeland Security and the other 6 bills.
Not a single one of us is going to get every single thing we want, but nobody does. But we're going to get what is best for the United States.
The deal would continue funding 9 federal agencies through the rest of the fiscal year, which ends on the 30th of September. Democratic lawmakers compromised on $1.4 billion for 88.5 kilometers of fencing along the U.S.-Mexico border. The figure is still far below the president's demand for $5.7 billion for a wall. But Republicans blocked their proposal to cut the number of beds used by ICE officials at border detention facilities by more than half. Democrats say fewer beds would force the Trump administration to prioritize deportations for criminals who could pose a real security threat. Speaking at a rally just 300 meters from the Mexican border in Texas, the president downplayed the news from Washington.
I have to tell you, as I was walking up to the stage, they said that progress is being made with this committee. Just so you know, we're building the wall anyway.
A little more than a football field away, former Democratic Congressman Beto O'Rourke had just held a rally against Trump's plan for a wall. O'Rourke is reportedly considering a presidential bid in 2020. He criticized Trump for stoking fear and defended his hometown of El Paso on the border as a haven for immigrants.
All of us together are going to make our stand. Here, in one of the safest cities in the United States of America. Safe, not because of walls, but in spite of walls.
The focus now shifts to whether the president will approve the tentative deal in time for Congress to pass the spending bill to ensure the paychecks of thousands of Americans don't get disrupted yet again. Laila Humairah, TRT World.
Let's get more on this deal now with our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, who joins us now from Washington, D.C. Hi, Craig. As we just heard, this deal is just a fraction of what Donald Trump is asking for his border wall. The big question is, will he accept it before the Friday night deadline to avert another government shutdown?
Well, the oddity of this, Oscar, is had he accepted the deal presented to him back in December, he would have made $200 million more on this. What we're seeing now, what I'm told, is that this wall has become a metaphor for a Trump presidency and a 2020 campaign that's founded on hate and fear, as Beto O'Rourke pointed out in that segment. He's playing to the most basic sinister fears and loathings of the American public right now, and any Republican who goes after Trump publicly right now to say, you've got to sign this, he'd be braver than the first guy who ate an oyster. I was with a White House official this morning, and even the folks at the White House aren't sure what he's going to do, because he sees this argument over Lego blocks and whether it's a fence or whatever you want to call it as part of the 2020 campaign to appeal to his base. So to answer your question, Oscar, I can't, because not even the people around the President of the United States know.
Interesting. We also know that the markets love it when a deal like this is struck. The Dow has jumped 300 points on news that the two sides have reached some sort of a compromise. We also know that Trump loves it when the markets rally because he loves to take credit for it. Do you think that might play into his decision-making at all?
Stock markets are fickle, Oscar, and while everyone is spending this time on the wall, remember the China trade deal, Oscar? Yes. Remember the situation in Syria? Do we need to go down the list? The rising U.S. debt? All of these issues have gone beyond back burner issues. They're not even being discussed. What you're hearing here are senior administration officials talking about building materials. What kind of building material can we mention publicly that's politically acceptable? The insanity level here has reached the level that Washington right now is a distortion reality field. And nothing is getting done, but last night Trump did tell the Pentagon to keep preparing for a national emergency in the event that he says, I'm going to go against Congress and I'm just going to sign a check and we're going to build that wall. So that is still an option.
We've got Senate Majority Leader, Republican Mitch McConnell, basically calling him to sign the deal. His Democratic counterpart, Chuck Schumer, is doing the same. But we've got that sort of influential right-wing sector of his party who are telling him to hold out for border wall funding. Who's he going to listen to, do you think?
In the end, he's going to listen to himself. The whole deal here, I'm being told, orbits around the 77,000 votes that Trump got to win the Electoral College, the votes that came from Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. He is in full campaign mode. He has not gone out of campaign mode. What I'm being told by both Democrats and Republicans is that Trump is paying no attention to America's national interest. It's all about his interest, his reelection interest. And although there are certainly cascade effects here in the U.S., as you said, if there's another shutdown, what I'm also hearing is there's a cascade effect globally, that the longer Trump goes on this way, the more the United States is losing its power and influence globally, both politically and economically. China trade deal, let's not forget that in this maelstrom, Oscar.
No, that's right, and those talks are going on as we speak. Craig Copetas in...